Today we've been dressing up as famous people and doing tasks like eating sausage rolls and doing star jumps. It helps us with maths because we had to get our results and plot them on a graph. It's better than our maths lesson because we do more things and we learn better doing it in a group and you're not sat behind a desk.
I'm Julie York, Director of Arts College at Harrop School. This is the first time we've been involved in a creative partnership initiative. We began by consultation with the maths department and talked about the challenges they faced in helping our students to achieve. It was agreed that recall was a major stumbling block, particularly for our Year 9 students. The focus of the project was developed and resulted in the following question. What is the effect of using creative approaches to teaching aspects of the key Stage 3 maths curriculum upon the ability of a group of Year 9 pupils in the recall of maths concepts and methods? We wanted to find out if utilising arts technologies could help to stimulate and motivate an identified cohort of able but disaffected students in maths. Our students succeed in the arts and we were hoping to find ways to replicate this in maths. We felt that if we could engage them as visual and kinesthetic learners, the project would then lead to better recall and therefore better understanding of the principles in the maths curriculum.
First, I want to get your opinions on what you think about maths, really.
I'm Johnny Woodhams, I'm one of the practitioners on the project. Today's session was an interesting one. I set a target of doing something completely kind of silly and off the wall, the furthest kind of gamut of how a lesson could be in what I hoped would kind of be their minds, something that really sort of pushed the boundaries a bit and was daft. My fear was that they wouldn't engage with sort of dressing up and would refuse that and think it was all a bit too silly, but actually the focus after they dressed up and put makeup on and stuff was a serious one that they had to come up with plotting points from a scientific kind of point of view and a mathematical point of view, which they did brilliantly, and the outcome from that was great, that they were able to plot that themselves on individual graphs and then do it on the big graph on the wall. So judging from the evaluative plots they made on the large graph, I was really pleased with how today's session went, and all the feedback was positive on that final sort of plotting. So it's really useful to have Sean at the end of every session who can draw out further maths from that, because I can only take it to a certain stage and Sean can then move that information on. So yes.
Me, Johnny, Paul and Fiona have been working on ways to elicit real-life examples to help pupils understand maths in context more easily. I think this has been really beneficial to the pupils. For instance, they've learnt transferable skills like direction, also camera work, and their engagement, enjoyment in the sessions has also been really impressive. The pupils that we've taken for this project are generally disaffected and also struggling in maths and underachieving across the board in English, maths, science and all the other foundation subjects. The topics we've been looking at are equations, graphs and also speed, distance, times, and the improvement in recall that we've found in the pupils has been amazing compared to what we'd normally find in a normal lesson, and that's been backed up by the tests that we've been doing in class. It's also really good because you get to see the pupils out of context in a different learning environment, and how a different learning environment can lead to kids understanding problems better. After working with Johnny, Paul and Fiona on different techniques on how to encourage pupils in drama to learn mathematics, it's opened my eyes on how to use these techniques in mathematics in the future.
What locations have we got?
We've got girls' toilet, gym,
Girls' toilets, gym,
Miss
corridor.
So the session was, I think whenever you take people out of the classroom and get them to walk around a school, there's always going to be a bit of disbursement, a bit of strange behaviour, and there was. But I think people really enjoyed telling their own stories about the school, and it was quite interesting to hear from a learner voice perspective how the pupils are already identifying certain areas of the school as their own, or the kind of stories that they're telling, and got them to take us to those places in the school and to tell us the stories on the site.
We went round the school telling stories and where they'd happened and that. And then later on we went upstairs in the like maths room and acted all the stories out and in like an equation, and did like someone add like running into a wall equals injury and things like that.
The idea originally was to talk to them about an equation that I was told when I was a barman many years ago about customer satisfaction being satisfaction equals events minus expectations, or expectations minus events. I can't remember which way around it was. But I didn't really need to explain that to them. I thought I was going to have to do more explanation, but they got it, and they very quickly started to make equations out of their stories, and we got them to act those out so that you could see something plus something equals something else actually in the space. And so they ended up with an understanding of what those equations were, and we talked a little bit about balancing equations. And with the group who were able to move further on, we started drawing storyboards of the equations just to get used to the techniques that might be used when we're making film.